Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Andress. I hope you're doing well. Surprise, surprise! I'm not teaching foundations right now. I have a reading lesson for you. I love reading. And you know, every day you'll be reading for the rest of your lives. Sometimes you read information books where you learn something. Sometimes you read storybooks just for fun. And there are characters in storybooks. And in order to understand a story and to talk about a story, you really need to understand the way a character is feeling because it really helps you understand that. Sometimes you can extend the story, and you can do that by maybe giving the character some advice or a tip. So, for example, if you left your books in a baggie at home when we were back in school, what would be the advice that someone would give you? Maybe a friend would say, oh, just tell Miss Andress, and then she can get you some more books for the day, right? Yeah. Or if you lost your earring, because that's happened too, maybe a friend would be, hey, let's go back and retrace your steps so we can find out where you dropped it. They are pieces of advice. I'm having a problem today. Anyhow, I want to use my favorite book again, In the Rain with Baby Duck. So, in the beginning of the book, Baby Duck is mad because she doesn't like the rain. Now, a bit of advice that we could give her would be, well, get an umbrella, get a raincoat, put on some boots. But she doesn't have that at home, so that's really not feasible to tell her that. But look, she had to walk across town to see Grandpa. She just loved Grandpa. Every Sunday it was the Duck family tradition to have pancakes at Grandpa's house. But this day, on her way, it was raining. And she's getting wet and wetter. What would be a bit of advice that you could give her? Think about it. So that maybe she doesn't get so wet. What could you tell her? Yeah, that sounded good. You would tell her, don't drag behind or don't lag behind. Make sure you stay up with your parents because that way you're not in the rain so long. Oh, maybe she could walk between her mom and dad. Maybe they could protect her from the rain too. Yeah, that sounds like a good bit of advice. What would you tell, and would you give any advice to the parents, to Mr. or Mrs. Duck? Right here, we see Mrs. Duck looking back at Baby Duck. She looks a little worried. She says, don't dawdle, dear, don't lag behind. So what would be the advice that you would give Mr. or Mrs. Duck? Maybe they need to hold her hand so that she doesn't lag behind. That's a good bit of advice. So think about that when you're reading your books today, boys and girls. Or think about it with stories that you already know. Think about Goldilocks and the Three Bears, where Goldilocks goes into the house and eats their porridge and breaks the chairs and sleeps in the bed. How did she get in? What advice would you give the bears? So think about that. Think about storybooks that you know really, really well. Maybe you are reading a new book and maybe you really love a new book. And just think about what advice you would give the character. I would love to hear it, so if you want to send any my way, feel free to do so. You guys have a great day thinking about advice or tips that you can give your characters. It's one way to extend the story, and it really shows that you understand it too. That's great. So boys and girls, enjoy your books and have fun with this. Have a great day.